you can't claim the other person is indoctrinated. Other ways to signal you are defeated.
Oh, right, yeah.
Oh, so if somebody says that, but you're just indoctrinated. You just
he looks at that. If somebody makes that claim, he looks upon that as being that he's the winner of the debate.
Yeah.
The guy's got mental health problems, doesn't he? What's wrong with somebody claiming that you're indoctrinated?
Or the information you're provided is only based through your indoctrination.
Physics and logic on a level supreme. It's a curved reality, splitting Flerf dreams.
Hey folks, Curious UK here. How's it going? So I don't know if you've seen, I've done a video which I've nominated a couple flat earthers who live in my neck of the woods. Name is Peter and Pete, or known in the community as Pete and Repeat. And they had done a video explaining a bunch of other derp and shit, but in their video in particular, they had decided that they wanted to challenge MCToon to a debate. So I informed MCToon that these two little muppets decided that they'd like to debate him. So 2-on-1 essentially, because there's two of them that run this channel. So they talked to MCToon, and MCToon was like, yeah, set it up, let's go, let's do it. So contacted these two little bell ends and said, hey yo, MCToon wants to debate you. And Toon got hold of him too and went, hey, think you can debate me? Think you can embarrass me? Fantastic. Let's do it. Let's have a debate. And then the running and the hiding and the excuses and the skirting around and the cherry picking began. Because these two are completely disingenuous couple little freaking plant pots. So I'll show you what's going on here now. Funny enough. So I was trying to set it up, and MCToon was trying to work with them, cater to their stupid demands. They're trying to cherry pick which definitions for which book and exactly specifically what definitions, pretty much avoiding any definition that could be used in science. So, example, they wanted to use the epistemology definition from Wikipedia for evidence. They want to use a scientific empirical definition. No, because they don't think you can prove the shape of the earth by testing anything using science. Kind of weird, but whatever. Now this is their magical escape mechanism, I guess. So I'll show you what I mean. I'll show you what I mean. I got screenshots and everything because these two are denying this shit and they're making shit up. How do I know this? They did a recent video about a month ago in which they're having to go globe face. Separate video, funny as fuck. They got everything wrong because they're a couple dumbasses. But they addressed this, and the first time I made out like MCToon was right away and was making a whole bunch of like outlandish demands. Not the case whatsoever. What they don't realize is I have all the evidence, all the screenshots, all the receipts there, cupcakes. So let's get into it. I would tag them in this video, but they have it set that they can't be tagged in videos because they're scared of being debunked and having their claims addressed. Now there's some other videos coming up which I addressed their claim that water doesn't have H2O in it, that air doesn't have oxygen or carbon dioxide or carbon monoxide in it. Bunch of they deny any and all science. Funny as fuck. So yeah, well, watch more videos of these two coming out this year. Let's get into it. So this is just after I'd seen the video in which they said they wanted to debate MCToon. So I got a hold of MCToon, got a hold of them. First asked if they re up for it. They said yeah. Got a hold of MCToon. He jumped on their live. I gave MCToon the link, and you can see kind of what's going on back and forth here. And you can see that these guys instantly started making certain demands. They didn't want to go on modern day debates because apparently it's a monetized channel, so they already started making weird demands and shit like that. And so it became quite apparent right away that these two were not interested in actually doing any kind of legitimate or in good faith debate. they only either they host it on their channel, where they have all the control and they make up all the rules, or else they weren't going to do it. And MCToon has stuff that it's going to make it fair, that both sides can have a fair chance to get their stuff out, and and it's structured for a reason, because flat earthers need structure. They're very much like toddlers with ASD. If they don't have the structure, they can't stick to anything. So as you can see here, this is a bit of a video in which I took of the screenshots, and I have some other screenshots further on, because it's gone for a while. I was trying to actually get this to go. I was trying to get this debate to go, because I thought it would make some good content, and just hitting brick wall with these two, because they are just not interested. They just want to make claims and not follow it up.
On this video, some time ago, we had the opportunity of having a discussion with MCToon.
Yeah, debate. Yeah.
A debate with MCToon. But
Yeah.
it never come around because
we didn't agree to his terms and conditions.
Because he wanted it all his way. I don't know why they bother with setting up these rules of engagement when they talk about debates and all this lot.
Yeah.
Well, that's simple there, Tweedledee and Tweedledum. If we don't set ground rules and set things in stone, flat earthers just tend to kind of run around and do whatever, because they pretty much have the minds of toddlers. And toddlers have ADD and don't have any meds. That's pretty much flat earthers in a nutshell. So you need to set down clear, concise rules and have it set time limits, what's going to happen, set down, going to do this at this time, this at this time, and this at this time. You have this long to each thing. Because if you don't, you get people like, Kevin, that French-Canadian guy that MCToon and FTFE had debated, in which they actually had set down certain rules, and he still couldn't follow them all because he couldn't pay attention to the fact is that certain things they talk about certain times. So watch that Dr. Ashtari, whatever, that one who says he works for the Chinese Space Agency. I doubt that. Nor do I think he's actually a doctor. I think he did a few correspondence courses on a little bit of herbal medicine and thinks that he knows something. Fuck, I probably know more than he does, but whatever. And I don't claim to be a doctor or anything like that. But yeah, if you don't set things out, they tend to have no idea what they're doing and just kind of run around, jump from one thing to another, and just overtalk you. That's where you have to have set times when they can and cannot talk. And these two, they talk over each other. So imagine when they'd be like in a fucking debate. It just would be absolute chaos. But yeah, I'll show you the demands that MCToon made, which weren't actually all that much. Essentially, this kind of break down. MCToon said, yeah, debate, let's do an MDD, a neutral platform where it's set when nobody has control. They didn't want to do that because it's a monetized channel because they make money off their debates and they don't want anybody making money. MCToon said do it on my channel, we'll do it on a different channel like Raging Tomato. They didn't want to do any of those. They demanded not doing any channel that can make money because they don't want to make money, somebody else to make money on their dirt. Guess what, cupcakes? What did he do? MCToon, all he has to do is just make a video of him. He gets ad revenue. Not that hard. All you gotta do is do a live on which, like what I've done a live which I just broke down your stuff. He gets super chats, he gets ad revenue. So you saying this is kind of stupid and retarded, and just because you refuse to make any ad revenue in yours because you declined it, but guess what, Peter and repeat, you're not making the money. Google is. So all you're doing is you're just handing the billionaires more money. Wow, good job. I mean, you're not even getting a little bit of, the piece of the pie, the tiny piece that YouTubers do get. Fucking hell, that sounds pretty stupid. But let me show you exactly what was said and how MCToon actually gave in to a lot of their demands and tried to work with them. And as soon as he did, they just skirted on to something else to try to block this and stop it from happening. They were looking for any excuse they could until eventually got to the point they knew they'd frustrate to the point people would be like, you guys just aren't worth the time, because obviously you're not willing to, they weren't willing to work with anybody and try to come up with reasonable expectations and reasonable solutions. Let's have a look and see.
No, that's a fallacy, that is. That's a fallacy. That's a logical fallacy, that is. Now you can't claim that it's wrong because you haven't, because we can't prove it, because we've got no proof.
No, yes.
Actually, it's not a logical fallacy at all. In fact, that follows logic completely. So any claims without evidence can be dismissed without evidence. I could claim the sky is purple, but if you look up and see the sky is blue, and I can't prove it's purple, but you can look up and see it's blue, then I have no evidence to back up my claims. I'm wrong. You say it's blue, we look, the sky is blue. Then you're right, I'm wrong. I have no evidence to support my claim. You have evidence to support yours. So yeah, it's easy as that. Not logical fallacy. You know, these guys, if flat earthers can use fallacies, at least learn what the fuck they are, because that was completely wrong. Like, these guys are so stupid, they can't even figure out what a logical fallacy is. Of course, because they're flat earthers and they don't have any logic.
Evidence is good enough, because we wanted to make the distinction between proof and evidence. And as soon as we hit them with that, that was it, wasn't it?
Well,
that wasn't the case whatsoever. What it was is that these two bellends wanted to cherry pick definitions and only stick to those specific definitions, and wanted to go into a scientific debate and use philosophical definitions. So, like the thing about proof, they wanted to use Merriam-Webster's definition, and I'll show you what that is right now. So they wanted to use this definition from Merriam-Webster's dictionary. I think more the first one than the second one, and it's because, in their opinion, it's only the thought of the Earth being a globe. They don't think it's actually factually true or that there's any empirical evidence. They only think it's just a thought experiment, and it's just because it's how they try to kind of rationalize it in their head as a magical rescue device. Then they wanted to use, for evidence, they wanted to use Wikipedia, but not just only any Wikipedia definition. They wanted to use the epistemology definition of evidence, which is used in the philosophical definition specifically. Now, so here's a screenshot of them talking about which definitions they demand on using. And here's the evidence part. I already showed the one from proof for proof, and you see they want to use epistemology, which you can see is only philosophical. Now, I did come back to them after a bit when I realized what they're asking for, and I brought up, why don't we use, within their framework, let's use naturalized epistemology. So he did a bit of research because he wanted to use epistemological definitions that went naturalized epistemology, which actually uses scientific method. They didn't like this for evidence. They didn't like that because now they couldn't turn and say they want to use epistemological definition for evidence, and then I came back and used their whole thing, which a naturalized epistemological definition relies on empirical evidence, data and measurements, and pretty much is a scientific method, which seems to be a bit better than what they're looking for. In which case then they ran away and declined to have the debate because they wanted to only have their specific definitions, which, like I said, was going to a scientific debate and using philosophical definitions to debate what could be could be empirically measured, could be empirically touched, felt, that we can test. They didn't like that. They think all this is only an idea instead of what is actually facts and evidence, as in the empirical evidence that's based on rigorous testing and repeatability. So yeah, I'll show you what exactly they're talking about here, because they told me what they wanted in the comment section when this was all being tried to set up. I actually did my best to try to set this up and be as fair as I could, but these two guys were willing to work, and every time something came up, they brought up a problem When a solution was brought up, they brought me another problem. And they kept bringing up problems until eventually got to the point where it just wasn't worth even pursuing a little further, because they weren't interested in having the debate. They just wanted to talk smack on the internet and think they could get away with it. And when they got called out, they ran away and hid a couple of bitches. As you can see from here, these two were trying to claim making financial gains by having a monetized YouTube channel. Now, I did offer to have them on my channel. They wanted to have it on their channel, that way they had all the power, they could mute, they could kick, whatever. For them to have it on my channel, they didn't want to have that because then it means they didn't have the power. But they refused to have it on any neutral platforms because, once again, they used the excuse that they may make some sort of ad revenue or something, and they were using that to try to get out of debating MCToon.
Oh yeah,
he totally lost all interest in discussing anything with you and I.
And the fact that
you and me,
we wouldn't have allowed them to have used the word fallacy.
We wouldn't. Yeah, they would have not been allowed in the debate at all. Absolutely.
Well,
and we would
crazy.
have made the separate distinction between proof and evidence.
So remember at the beginning of this video where these two started, they said that MCToon made loads of demands that and just wouldn't let things go. But if you listen to how these two Muppets are speaking, it's them that are making the unrealistic demands and hardlining, even the fact that they're determining only what definitions they were allowed to be used in a debate, a scientific debate, and they're only allowing philosophical definitions, which is just them just cherry picking and trying to control the narrative. And then they want to wouldn't let fallacies be used because they knew that that's what they're guilty of. They knew that that's all they rely on, and they're going to use. It's just nothing but different fallacies and make claims and stuff that where it's just they're going to get called out on. So they're instantly trying to cherry pick and control things because they know that they're going to be guilty of all these things and that they're going to just commit loads of different logical fallacies. So they're trying to control that as well. This shows us how disingenuous these guys are. So they talked a big smack. Remember, it was Pete and Peter and Pete that are the ones that first called out MCToon. They made the claim that they should debate him, that they'll destroy him and embarrass him. But as soon as he gets called out on it, suddenly it's just, oh, we can't do this, or you can't do that, and you can't say this, and you can't say that, and you only can use these philosophical definitions, you can't use any scientific ones, and they want to separate proof and evidence, which it's already done anyways. If you ever watch anything MCToon, he never claims science proves anything, it only provides evidence to support or falsify whatever you're testing. But yet these two think they have something on that. And like I said, we went through all this, and this was like something I think I put in a good week and a half of going back and forth, even to the point where MCToon kind of gave up. I was still trying to see if I could kind of bring them around and then bring something to MCToon, because I was going to host this. I think there's one thing they may, I don't know if they actually ever agreed to having it on my channel. I think they kind of try to skirt around that. They want to have it only on their channel. And as I pointed out, they have it on their channel. It's a place where they can control everything. They can control what's said. They can edit it. They could mute MCToon whenever they wanted. They could kick him whenever they wanted. Obviously, they have only their audience there, so they can make sure they have their support. Nobody else, because their channel is small, tiny compared to MCToon's or MDD's or anybody else. Obviously, my channel is microscopic. I haven't been able to do live streams for a while because I do different family commitments, and I only do put out videos when I can. But I'm still trying to do something. But as soon as I put out the thing, they talk about monetization, I went, well, I'm not monetized, not even close to being monetized. Put it on my channel, and I make absolutely no money from this. But I'll host the debate, and I'll be an honest person. Like, I have honor and I have integrity, and I wouldn't be disingenuous because then it's going to make myself look bad. I'd make the debate a fair debate between both sides. I have full confidence that a fair debate, MCToon have no problem handling these two. And so I had no issues. You know, I know MCToon. I do look up to him. He's, you know, I've watched a lot of his videos. He's a good guy. He has a lot of knowledge. And these two are nothing but a couple clowns that just make loads of claims and yet can't seem to substantiate a single one. But let's go on here. They're going to look at MCToon's website. And it's kind of funny as well as these two just crumble when they look at all this stuff because, oh no, a fair debate with like set of rules that are like set out that everybody has to follow. No, they can't have that because they think it's going to be biased towards one side. Well, only if you aren't given the truth is it going to be biased.
And yet MCToon was the guy, very guy, who actually, because if you go on the channel, here we go, here you go. I mean, look at this. On my channel, ask a few things. So, family friendly, take turns, be cordial. You can't claim the other person is indoctrinated. Other ways to signal you are defeated.
Oh right, yeah.
Oh, so if somebody says that, but you're just indoctrinated. You just
he looks at that. If somebody makes that claim, he looks upon that as being that he's the winner of the debate.
Yeah.
The guy's got mental health problems, doesn't he? What's wrong with somebody claiming that you're indoctrinated?
Or the information you're provided is only based through your indoctrination.
Yeah, like that.
See, instantly they didn't like that whole thing of that. You can't claim the other person is indoctrinated. Why don't they like that? Well, it's quite simple. It's the Flat Earth magical rescuing device. As soon as something comes up that they can't prove, they have no evidence to falsify it, and they can't have anything, had nothing against it, they just throw out the, oh, you're just indoctrinated and you only believe what they say. You only believe what the government tells you or what NASA tells you. So that's what their magical rescuing device is. And these two are extremely guilty of that. And I've seen this several different times. But even when they're responding to somebody in the comments, they just throw out the, you're indoctrinated, you don't know the truth, you only believe what they tell you, what the government or what NASA tells you. See, so instantly you can see that these two are not genuine people who are going to have a genuine debate, because they already have an issue over the fact that they couldn't claim that MCToon or myself or anybody else is indoctrinated, because that's obviously what their fallback is when they're getting absolutely destroyed.
As pretty much what they're alluding to here is that we're indoctrinated, and that everything I say, anybody says that about the Earth being a globe or any evidence is just based on imagination, because that's what we're told to believe.
Support your claim. If you make a claim, it is usually expected. I like that bit there. If you make a claim, it is usually expected to provide supporting evidence. But again, we make a distinction between proof and evidence. Evidence is just any bit of information that supports an idea.
And see, once again, he even quotes the philosophical definition, where evidence is only any kind of information that supports an idea. So they think that the shape of the Earth being a globe, space, and everything are only ideas. They refuse to engage in anything that comes to like evidence is empirical evidence, where it's stuff that's evidence which is facts and supporting evidence, supporting stuff. They say the idea of the globe, and they say here's the evidence that the Earth is a globe. Here are physical measurements done by surveyors like the American Arc of the Parallel or the British triangulation, I think it is. There's several other ones. I think this one that was done down in India, all around the world, all around the globe. There has been long-range surveying projects done, as well as just any kind of geodetic surveyor measures the curvature of the Earth. Every single day, millions of times a day, the Earth is measured, and it always comes out as being a spheroid. And this is just empirical evidence. Now we have stuff like, I don't know, pictures like Artemis 2, Artemis 1, all the Apollo missions, all the Mercury Redstone missions, all the Gemini missions, physical film, all showing that the Earth's a globe. We have high altitude rockets, even amateur rockets like Kip Bogart, who had a rectilinear lens on his camera, so that way it had very little to no barrel distortion, showed the curvature of the Earth. We have things like Verde systems, in which they send up these probes that make crystals for different cancer research, and they have a little camera on there, and every single time it's coming down back to Earth, they have the camera there, and you can see that the straight line is each side, so it's not a barrel distorted lens, but yet it shows curvature of the Earth. This is observed all the time. You can look it up on, they post their videos up on YouTube all the time. They show time and date when it is done, and you can even verify when these things come back to Earth after they've orbited around. They do, I think it's for a few days or a week or so, and it grows these crystals. Has to do it in very low gravity to get the purity that you need to these crystals, but I digress. So yes, there's much different, there's the mountains and mountains of evidence, but this is empirical evidence of measurements, of experiments, of observations that had testing, and can verify this with actual data. That's what we're talking about. These two will run away from that. They ignore the data, they ignore all the evidence, they ignore all the measurements, they ignore all the experiments. It means nothing to them. And it's pretty much down to the fact that it's too complicated for them to understand that. They can't comprehend the even the basics of it, and so they simply hand wave it away and claim to be fake. So what do? They resort to philosophy and philosophical definitions and try to apply it to scientific evidence, scientific methods, which that doesn't work. Philosophy and science, not exactly the same thing. In fact, not even at all. I know it's the philosophy of science, so you're going to do philosophy about science, but to do actual science, philosophy has no place in that.
Yeah, and he goes on saying, if you want to disprove evidence that has been presented, simply dismissing it is not sufficient. There should be evidence to support the dismissal.
So what he's saying is that you can only criticise and be critical of evidence, but not the actual claim. Yeah, the guys, the way these people think, and they can't understand that their whole understanding and all of their claims are all hinged upon ideas.
Yeah, which is what the evidence points to.
So, the
idea of gravity, the idea that there's curvature
of the Earth.
Yeah,
the idea, absolutely, the idea of this. And
a lot of their evidence only points to the idea.
Yeah, the idea there is oxygen as a constituent of the air. The idea that water is made of hydrogen and oxygen.
But you can't dismiss the evidence because it's not sufficient.
Yeah, absolutely. And the worst thing is
he's asking you to disprove the evidence.
No, it's just mad, isn't it?
But the evidence only supports an idea.
Yeah, you can't.
So you're trying to disprove something
that doesn't exist.
Somebody's head,
which is crazy.
Not in the real world.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure halfway through their little rant there, they lost track of what they're trying to say. MCToon said, if you make a claim that you don't agree with something, the evidence or something, you have to present evidence to the contrary. So if I make the claim that purple elephants are running around this park right now, I would have to prove that. I'd have to say, oh, look over there, there's a purple elephant, it just ran past me. There's no purple elephant running past me, there's no evidence. So if I can't provide evidence to support my claim is bullshit. That was it. Now, if I said, this grass is green, and you can see it's green because I'm taking video of it, and you can see that the grass is green, and you turn around and said, no, the grass is blue, I'd be like, oh, okay, what's your evidence to prove this grass is blue? And you went, well, I say it's blue, and I don't think it's green, because I don't think it's green. Well, that's nothing. There's no evidence. You have no evidence to support your claim that the grass is blue. I do, however, have evidence that the grass is green. That's what they're talking about. Now, if you say you have evidence for something like, you know, the moon is made of plasma, then you need to support that evidence. So you just say, I have evidence, then you need to present that evidence. You have to say, here's why I think the moon is plasma, because, I don't know, they sent a probe up there and you can see it morphing and it's actually gas and like that. Here is the proof. Here's a video. Here's measurements. Here. I had a high-power telescope. I'll look and you can see, because plasma is actually not solid. It's a different gaseous that's superheated and lost some electrons. Here you can see that. But if I say, okay, you say the moon is plasma, which I actually have heard flat earthers claim, I go, no, the moon is a rock. It's hard. It's solid. Here's the evidence. One, here's pictures I've took of the moon, non-changing. You can see the craters in it. So there's been impacts on there. Here's video from Artemis 2. Here's video from Artemis 1, close up. Here's videos from lunar probes that have orbited around the Earth. Here's ones from the landers that landed on the moon. Oh, look, here is 1969 when Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin walked on the moon. Oh, look, here's another one from Apollo 12. They walked on the moon. Look, here's another one from Apollo 14. They walked on the moon. Here's another one. Oh, look, here's retro reflectors put up there by the Apollo missions that we use to measure the distance to the moon using lasers. Here's the evidence of before even Apollo missions, where they shot radio waves, radar at the moon, and they measured the distance to the moon using radar, because they had a radar return, which comes from a solid object. Even I think plasma can actually return some radar as well, because they use that for measuring the distance to the sun as well. Look up Stanford University did that back in the 1950s, I believe. So I digress again. But here's evidence to support that. Here's why I made this claim. Here it is. You make the claim, you have nothing. That's what they're on about. These two seem to not be able to comprehend that. I think even at one point they lost track of what they were even trying to say, because they switched from one to another. Kind of weird. But then what do you expect from two absolute bellends who seem to not be able to keep a coherent thoughts between both their heads, which is really weird. And they seem to think they're in some sort of sync. You listen to these both, they try to finish each other's sentences. Quite hilarious. I mean, maybe a little bit closer than we think. I mean, is there any evidence these guys have wives? I mean, maybe they're buddies, you know? Nothing against that. That's fine. It explains a lot.
Be consistent. You know, if you demand a certain standard of evidence, it is expected you will use that same standard for any evidence you include. But we're talking proof here.
Yeah.
You know, we've made a distinction between proof and evidence. Proof supports facts. Evidence supports ideas. If you have the idea of something, you can produce some evidence to support that idea. Whereas if you have a fact, then you have proof that supports that fact. You know,
From understanding, that's not exactly true. Facts are supported by evidence. This is, you know, quite easy. It's not going to be. This is factually true as far as we know, as far as our understanding goes. So, evidence is usually something like, to the best of our knowledge and what all the measurements, testing, experiments, and our current understanding, this is what we know is happening right now. Now, a lot of times sometimes new evidence can be presented, and sometimes things can be tweaked a little bit. So, example, I think way back in like thousands of years ago, they measured the distance to the moon, I think at Eratosthenes, and he got, as far as he knew, it was something like, still quite far away, further than any flat earthers ever claimed the sun to be. Then we got better techniques, better measurement devices, better equipment, and and the evidence showed that not the moon, the sun is actually further away than that. Okay, right? So new evidence presented, better measurements, more accuracy. Okay, then we realized no, there's actually still further, and we refined it more and more and more until we got to the average of 93 million miles, or now it's considered to be 1 astronomical unit. But that's so science never uses proof, because proof especially in science, means that something is set in stone. Something is 100% unmoving. It can't, there's nothing that can disprove it. There's no new evidence. There's nothing like that. Something like proof would be like the Earth is made out of rock, right? This is substantially true. Nothing's going to change that. The Earth is made out of rock. It's stone, it's rock, it's solid. There's nothing is going to change that. So that would be proof. The proof is with the stone, the rock, the Earth. Here it is. Now, could you say what exactly is the rock made out of? What compositions are in the rock? Perhaps it could be, they could say one thing. Evidence supports that it's made out of, you can say sandstone, you can say granite, you can, many other elements, I can't think of them right now, or different minerals and stuff. But perhaps you have more accurate stuff down the road, techniques to go, find and go, oh, actually, there's trace elements of this, this, and this. You can go further and go this, this, and this. And we can maybe add more minerals or elements to the rock. The rock is still a rock, but what's in it is now, here's the evidence of what that rock is made out of. So science never claims 100% evidence, because nothing is 100%. They can say it could be 99.9% that this is how they think it works, but there's always open to new evidence, new testing, measurements. So that's the nice thing with science. Science never makes 100% is all that everything is what it says is that's it, end of, close the book. It's always open to more. Now, so flat earthers and these two, they claim things like, if you heard earlier, they claim that water isn't made from H2O, isn't made from two hydrogen and one oxygen. It's weird, it's funny, because we can prove that. You can do something like electrolysis, on which you can separate hydrogen and oxygen, and then you can use a flame test on hydrogen side. I think it's the positive side of tube. Put in there and you hear the big pop crack, because hydrogen is a lot more flammable, faster. And on oxygen side, you can put the stick in there, a match, and it'll make the flame glow brighter and have a different effect. There's difference. You have different elements. Now we know what hydrogen does because we've tested what hydrogen does. We know oxygen does, just pure oxygen. So we know what water is made from H2O. We've been able to actually separate the molecules and do that. So yeah, these guys just make up all sorts of shit.
But anyways,
But he gave up with you and me, didn't he?
Yeah, because we were discussing this, and then it just didn't go anywhere.
Because we were setting the ground rules.
Yeah,
we were setting our ground rules, and he obviously didn't like them.
So to correct them, because I was there, they were demanding unrealistic things, trying to use philosophical definitions in a scientific debate, and then unwilling to give on anything. Even the fact they're having issues over if a channel was monetized or not, because they didn't want anybody to make money, because, oh Lord forbid, somebody's hard work might actually pay off. Somebody might, host something that people have some sort of entertainment value or information, and oh no, they might make a little ad revenue. Oh no, can't do that, can they? Just because these two refuse to monetize their channel, that's their freaking choice. Doesn't mean everybody else has to be punished. See, they're pushing their ideologies and what they think is right onto everybody else. But guess what, there, pumpkin and princess? Your ideologies are freaking flawed and stupid, and nobody has to adhere to them because they're dumb. Look, if I could have a monetized channel, I would. In fact, I have another channel I have that does something completely different than this, and I've hit to the point where I could monetize. I just have to put out some more videos and some shorts and stuff like that, but I'll work on that later. But yeah, just because somebody has a monetized channel, and believe me, don't really make a lot. If they think that somebody who's monetized actually makes some kind of money on YouTube, if you're not some of the massive huge creators that get like sponsorships and stuff like that, then you're not making a lot. really, especially on ad revenue. So unless a video is sponsored, I think then that's where the money is, or you get stuff from merch or other deals. That's as far as I can tell, that's where the real money really is. But yeah, these two, it's the fact that MCToon gave up when we realized that these two are completely unrealistic. They're not willing to work with them. They're not genuine people, not genuine, want to have a genuine debate. All they want to do is just control everything and determine that somebody uses philosophy in what a scientific debate has scientific empirical evidence that can be measured, that can be tested, can be verified or falsified. And the fact is they know that their whole ideology easily can be falsified with simple geometry and measurements and observations, and they actually didn't really want to debate MCToon. They made up every excuse they could possibly find to make sure to run away from the debate because they knew they couldn't handle him. They knew they'd get destroyed. They made this claim on their channel on a video end of last year. Somebody like me found out and thought, I think this would be funny. Let's see if MCToon's up for it. Obviously, Toon's always up to have a little laugh. And so we put it out. MCToon got in touch with them, and then they shit themselves, tried to come up with every excuse in the book they could think of, while trying to still kind of somehow save face so they can claim that MCToon ran away. Toon didn't run away. Toon's still more than happy to debate these two Muppets, but they'll never do it because it's just too scary for them, and they know they'll never ever be able to get one up on them. All they're going to do is embarrass themselves. They know they're going to embarrass themselves. They know they're going to look like there's nothing but a couple of little bell ends. They're going to just look like they know absolutely nothing and be exposed. So they found a ways of running away from it, and pretty much just frustrated the situation until got to the point where Toon just realized they're not worth his time because they're just going to keep looking and trying to find anything they can, and they're not actually willing to do this. So I'd even debate them, but I know they wouldn't even debate me. They've said they wouldn't debate me. I think it's because they know that they would. I'd destroy them, and Toon would absolutely work me. They actually, I think it was a few years ago, talking to Craig from FTFE, and they said they debate him, but when they realized she was monetized, they wanted like £10,000. So for two guys that don't want to be monetized, I don't think you should be making money. It's really funny because they seemed more than willing to get money off of FTFE for a debate. Which FTFE is like, I'm not going to pay you guys. You guys won. It ain't worth it. Like they have, probably at the time, they had maybe a couple thousand subs, if that. FTFE's got like over 20,000 subs. So he's like, why would I even do? And the funny thing is, the weird thing is, they say we don't want you guys making money off us. Well, guess what, freaking Cupcake? Guess what, there, fucking Toadstool? They make money off you anyways. I just made videos of it. All I do is look at your channel, your videos. They kind of do lives, kind of weird. They kind of do a live stream. Well, they shoot a video, they do it live. They don't edit it and they put it out. And I've just broke down their videos and still get views off them. So they're gonna get views either way. Now they can either be there and at least try to put their ideals forward and try to defend themselves, or they can sit there and just let people like me, MCToon, FTFE, Culture Cats, or they could do something else back in the day, monetize them. Not a big deal. Either way, they put this stuff out. We're gonna make money off them if we want. So I am right now. I'm not making money off them. I'm making a video anyways to get views. So either way, yeah, let's crack on.
So he knows that he couldn't debate.
So he's laid out debate ground rules
that are biased,
that are in favour of him
and his science,
and that's setting other people to fail.
Yeah, absolutely, of course, yeah, which is totally wrong.
So I don't know why people bother debating MCToon.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, when you look at some of his videos, on YouTube, and he's got some
Anyway.
flat earther thinks this is whatever.
Yeah, anyway,
blah,
go
blah.
on, let's go
The
on.
guy's crazy or whatever. It's because he's using biased ground rules.
Right, anyway, so
The only reason these two Muppets think that the ground rules are biased is because they are simply rely on scientific facts and evidence, data, and everything else. And these two don't believe in that. They don't want to use that. They don't understand it. Can't have no comprehension of it. So they think it's bias. It's not bias. It actually sets out very simple ground rules that both sides must follow. And if you look at it, it's actually trying to make it as fair and as objective, and as well as just to have the least amount of bias, really, to give both sides equal opportunity to present their cases, present their their evidence they want to present that supports their claims. So these two, all they want to do is make fallacious claims, just spout whatever, and claim that it's got to be truth. Just because you say it doesn't mean it is. It's very obvious both of these guys were never interested in actually debating MCToon or anybody else, really. You can see it's very clear. Like I said with I talked to FTFE. He said that when they were willing to debate, well, they said they were willing to debate, until they found out that they seen a bit of FTFE's content. This was like years ago, and they noticed that oh no, this guy knows what he's talking about. Oh no, this guy's got an education. He's got actual evidence, scientific data. So then suddenly they took the coward's way out, and they demanded, I think FTFE said like £10,000, because at that point Craig's channel was monetized, so which means we've been doing it for a while. They didn't want to do that. Now they've done the same thing with MCToon. Made huge claims. Yes, we can debate them or embarrass them, blah blah blah. Even though they knew who MCToon was, but I think in this case they assumed he was never going to hear it. They assumed that he never watches their channel. They're below his radar. He's not going to say anything or do anything. What they didn't count on is that other people have watched their channel and are more willing to give MCToon a heads up, like myself. So I took an interest in these guys because I'd seen them once. I was in Chester. They're just kind of hanging out visiting for a day, and I happened to see these two little bell ends standing on sidewalk with the little table up, all the little sandwich board signs that they've drawn out in the crayon, and I went, wow, holy crap, there's flat earthers here, holy shit, that's just funny. But I wasn't really into flat earth at the time, or debunking flat earth, until like years later. And then I seen these guys, but I didn't know they had a YouTube channel until last year, when it happened to come up. I realized that they're Peter and Pete, and so I took a bit of interest in them because they're local Flerfs, and I thought it'd be funny to kind of just go over some of their content. The whole thing of saying that there's no curvature that can be seen, which is funny as fuck, because I could literally take them out to New Brighton Beach right now. Nice, lovely, sunny day, clear day. You can look way out. I have a video on this from the beach there, especially when the tide goes low. You can walk quite a ways out. And when I went out, the water was still. It was calm. It was so calm. There was no. The tide had gone out. It was sitting quite level, quite calm. No waves, no big swells, nothing. And way off in the distance, you can see the ferries going out and watch them disappear bottom up, because they're quite a big ship. Cargo ships coming out of the Mersey, as well as way off in the distance. This is a little killer. There's a wind farm way off. Look to the left, and you can see there's some that are about 5 miles away. You can't see the bases, but you can see most of them. And you go 8 miles away, further away, with an extension to the wind farm. And for some reason you can see less and less of those bases, to the point it looks like the blades on the wind turbines are literally hitting the water. If the earth was flat, the wind turbines would be starting to get submerged. in which case they don't work so good. Wind turbines don't work well underneath water, and they certainly don't work well even if the ends are hitting the water. Don't work at all, right? Just kind of defeats the whole purpose. Extra resistance, you don't want that. Wind turbine, you want it to spin free. Any kind of wind, you want to be able to generate electricity, generate power. So, why is that? Well, there's only one explanation. And it's not down to perspective convergence, because if that was the case, then I wouldn't be able to see the blades of the wind turbines. The first thing to disappear would be the smallest part, and the blades, being the thinnest part, would be the first thing that I wouldn't be able to resolve. The base, the big huge massive towers to sit on, would be the last thing. And you'll see all the way, obviously the closer, the further you get down, the wider it gets. So they actually would disappear from top to bottom, as the top's smaller, the bottom's thicker, bigger area, and it's also closer to me, being the fact I'm on the ground as well. So what happens? What happens is that they disappear bottom up, and it's because something's obstructing them, the curvature of the Earth. Now, Peter and Pete, if you happen to see this video, I would tag you in this, but you have your YouTube set and you can't be tagged in anything because you're scared. I get it, I understand. Facts and evidence, very scary to you guys. But if you ever want to hit me up, my email is down in the comment section, in the description of all my videos, all my YouTube channel. Hit me up. I check my email at least daily. We'll go with New Brighton. Bring your high-powered cameras. Bring whatever you want, optics. I'll be nice. I'll bring my mobile phone, which I used last time. I'll bring my telescopes with my camera attaches to them. We'll have a look. Now, you can bring your P1000 all you like. It's still not going to be as good as a telescope, right? I have one telescope, my basic, most cheapest one. It's got 170 times max, 170 times magnification. P1000 is 125. I'll bring a bigger telescope. Max magnification is 307 times on that. So P1000, it's a toy when it comes to magnification compared to what I can get. I also have a lot more aperture, and gather a lot more light, and get a lot more clarity, especially with my 5-inch Newtonian telescope on a mount. To be nice and steady, no handheld. And we'll have a look at those wind turbines off the coast. You know, the further ones, closer ones. See if we can zoom back in. We'll look at some of the ships. Sometimes the ships come in and out. Usually got the ferries. You happen to see one, we'll watch it go off. We'll watch it take off as it heads up to the northern part of England. It heads off to Ireland. Also, we'll have a little look and see if we can see the Isle of Man. Isle of Man's about 70 miles away. Earth is flat, big island. You have no problem seeing that. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? Maybe we'll look for Ireland. Ireland's quite a big landmass, isn't it? Earth's flat. She'll zoom that in, no problem, right? So easy to see Ireland from the beach of New Brighton, only across the Irish Sea. But guess what, Buttercup? Won't be able to see any of that. You know why? Curvature of the Earth is in the way. Easy. Go out and prove curvature to you guys. You guys can go do this yourselves. But I know you won't, because you don't want the evidence, you don't want the facts, you don't want the truth. You just want to spiel your fallacious narrative and live in your little fantasy worlds. And that's it. And just believe you guys are smarter than you actually are. MCToon knows it. You guys know it. He would have destroyed you guys like that. Would have embarrassed the both of you guys. You guys could have had a 2-on-1, but you were too scared for that. I'd debate you guys, but I know you'd run, because guess what? I can tell you right now, we're doing it on my channel, not doing yours, because I have honor and integrity, and I don't think you guys do. We're using scientific terminology. It's a scientific debate. We're not using philosophy. We're not doing a philosophical debate. We're not using epistemology. We're using the scientific terms for empirical evidence, data, and data collection, experiments, and see what we come up with. So you're more than willing to. I've been looking for flat Earth evidence for 5 years. Never found it once. The closest that flat Earthers get is globe denial. And that's it. Alright, that's it. My little last spiel here. I took up a lot of time here, so don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Click the like if you like my videos. Click the bell so you know I upload other videos. I'm trying to do it when, if I can. Been super busy with life, doing a lot of different things. I have far too many projects going right now, so I catch up with some stuff. But yeah, comment down below. What do you think, Peter or Pete? Do you think MCToon was scared? And check out the I'll check out the video or the comment section. You want to see everything that was commented on the video they put up. I think it was end of last year. And tell me what you think. That's it. Don't forget, people, Earth's deck the globe, space is real. Don't forget, stay curious. I'll see you again. Thanks for watching.
And by the way, all those rumors on the internet are fake. I'm not flat. I'm not hollow on the inside, and there's definitely no reptilian.